I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. I'm here with the DigitsClub, and in this video, I will explain the Digitspad Launchpad and our Digits Agents character NFTs that are coming up. Two major components for the Digits ecosystem. This video, I will give a brief introduction how the reward model works, how the agents come into play, what their purpose is, and answer any questions that you guys might have. So I will do a screen share and I will walk you through all of the information. If at any moment there are questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will have the chat open. There's about 30 people here today, and I will be able to pick up your questions immediately. So don't use the Q&A function, please. Please use the chat function. Yes, perfect. All right, Digitspad, website looking good. All the good without the bad. That's an amazing slogan. I wonder who came up with that. No token, no low quality projects, guaranteed allocation, right? So the benefits of the Digitspad are obviously you have no risk of devaluation of your token. So there's no staking of tokens. You can only get access to the Launchpad through a Digitspad Allocation NFT. And that is basically the first thing I want to pick up today. We select, the Digits team selects the projects, and the chosen DAO from Digits, so they're called Digits Chosen, in our Discord, they actually vote on the project. So they get selected by, obviously, a very knowledgeable research team, and then the DAO can basically do the second vote. The DAO are our biggest investors in our community. They can do a vote whether we want to launch the project or not. And so far, that has been working really well. We are also striving for a guaranteed allocation. Guaranteed allocation through a point system, averaging about $500 to $5,000. There is a little star mark because obviously when the launches happen, we need to see where the equilibrium lies for everybody. We did a huge airdrop. So the Digitspad Allocation NFTs at the moment, I can only speak about past results and not about future events because obviously I am the owner of this NFT collection. Little disclaimer. Right, the floor price right now, 0.175. In the last couple of days, a lot of activity on the collection, as you can see. Now we basically pushed out the Digitspad. The Digitspad itself will go live in line with the Digits Agents character NFTs, on which I have more information in a little bit. So there was a 9,999 supply. One of our advisors recommended us to keep the economy healthy on Digitspad to burn a large part of the supply, which we did. We burned 7,000 NFTs. So the collection is now 3,000 NFTs. 3,000 NFTs, of which the team on the treasury, my team, the Digits team, held about 1,400 NFTs, so about 45% of the supply. Then our advisor, the advisor for the Digits ecosystem, right? All the NFT collections that we have, the future of this entire mainframe ecosystem. He recommended us that we get rid of our big portion of the supply. Right, so we decided to do that by rewarding our early days holders. That has always been a principle. I love when games do this, projects do this. So hang on, let me restart the screen share for my entire screen. I love when projects do this. So I want to follow that example. I discussed it with my team. Everybody approved. It was unanimous. We basically airdropped a little bit more. So it's about $285,000 at the moment worth of Digitspad Allocation NFTs to our earliest supporters from a pre-sale we once did. We are closing the pre-sale chapter. The users have been notified. We thank them for their original support. And we basically, as a sign of gratitude, gave them an airdrop of these NFTs. So the company only holds about 300 NFTs still, which we will also airdrop to the remaining members and use for giveaways to make everything happen. That's why the price went basically from 0.3 Ethereum to 0.17, which makes sense. My personal opinion, if I would be an audience member, based on the Digitspad vision, which is the vision alone, we haven't launched any projects, is that this is a very, very interesting price, right? Because for 0.17, it's about $500 on the dot. You basically get guaranteed allocation. So how the actual platform works, so this is just some base text, right? Lorem ipsum, because we haven't launched any projects, but it looks really good. The FAQ has been updated, and this is the most recent questions, which I will walk through here. A question, airdrop to remaining members. No, the actual 300 NFTs that we have left will be for pre-sale people that actually didn't receive it because they submitted the wrong wallet. So they can still contact me this week, and then I will do the airdrop for them. If they don't contact me this week, what is left over will be used for giveaways to promote Digitspad. As you can see on our Twitter, which we launched for Digitspad as well. There's currently a promo running to win an Allocation NFT. So you might want to check that out by searching Digitspad on Twitter. So what is Digitspad? It is an exclusive decentralized reward-based launchpad. So why is it reward-based? Because you need to stake your Digitspad Allocation NFT to yield points. Because we give points, this is a reward model, and that means that there's no KYC required on Digitspad to participate in the projects that we offer. However, because currently we do not offer a claiming dashboard, you need to claim with our Launchpad partners, so which we partner with to provide seed, strategic, private, and public sales. Their projects might require KYC, but we will notify people beforehand if that's the case. We will also offer whitelist spots because of the DigitsClub, because of the content we create on YouTube, because of our reach of over 30,000 investors. We get offered a lot of whitelist spots for NFT projects. Usually we give these away in our Discord, but in the future, these will be offered on Digitspad, and you can buy the whitelist spots with your points. If it's a super trendy project, you might have to spend a lot of points. If it's a lower interest project, you might have to spend 1 point to get a whitelist spot. And we will also offer NFTs, NFTs that partners give us, NFTs that we buy ourselves, any form there. So basically, you can have 3 types of rewards. You can get allocation round rewards, you can get whitelist spots rewards, and you get NFT rewards. All for free, quote unquote, after your initial purchase of the NFT, depending on the secondary market price, because everything is already in distribution, circulating supply, 3,000 out of the 3,000. Obviously, you need to buy the allocation, which is important, right? And depending on the terms on the NFTs, etc., how that works would be when the platform is live. So how do you get access? You need a Digitspad Allocation NFT or a future Digits Agents NFT. So the agents, which I will go into after we finish Digitspad, give access to all the Digits brand products. We have 3 available right now: DigitsClub, TrackDigits, Digitspad. And of course, in the future, they will also get access to all future products. And that's only Digits Agent NFT holders. What are allocation NFTs? So allocation NFTs will give you 1 point per day per NFT. The NFTs are stackable. So if you have more NFTs, you get more points. The agent NFTs will give you 1 point per day as well, but they also carry a rarity multiplier, which can basically advance your points. Naturally, these NFTs are also likely to be more expensive. I cannot say anything about future events. However, looking at how the point system is built up, one might assume, which is not a fact, it's just an assumption, that these NFTs would likely be more expensive. Do you need an allocation NFT and a character, or just one? You can choose one. You don't need both. You can use both if you want to amplify the amount of points that you yield, right? So the agent NFTs are for the entire Digits ecosystem, all products, including Digitspad, and their utility for Digitspad specifically is 1 point per day plus the multiplier. And the Digitspad allocation NFTs are only for Digitspad, none of the other products, and yield 1 point per day. You can purchase on OpenSea. These are not yet mintable, so they will be minted. Do I need to complete KYC? No, unless it's for a partner project, and then it will be announced. How does the allocation work? Well, here's a complete example of how it works, but the main reasoning is total raise amount divided by total points committed, and that's your allocation per point. It is very important to note that once you do file for an allocation and we grant you the allocation in return for your points, you do not fill the allocation, we burn all your points through the penalty system, right? So this is a serious project. We do integrate the Digitspad directly with DigitsClub. So if you're in the Discord server, you will see all the notifications that you need. Because in the NFQ there is and, if I saw that correctly, let me check that. How do I get access? All Digitspad and Allocation NFTs and Agents NFTs holders can access Digitspad. It's not required to have either or, they both can get access. Yep. What are the types of rewards? These three. What's the fair share model? So basically we cap the minimum amount you need to invest based on the partner requirements. So some IDO projects, some seed round projects. So a seed round usually requires at least $5,000 per investor. An IDO might require $50 per investor. So we have a minimum based on the partner, and we have a maximum based to keep that the whales don't buy everything, right? And the allocation is calculated as per my example. Somebody is asking how to get a rare character NFT. So when the characters are announced, so if you go over to Twitter and you go to Agents, there's a page which was created yesterday, which is called Digits Agents. And I recommend you to follow it and pull the bell icon, because over the next couple of weeks, I want to say days, likely days, there will be some significant announcements here in terms of whitelist opportunities. So it is very likely that up to 70, 80, 90% of the collection will go to whitelisted users, right? The pricing, everything, the date still to be determined, but it's it's at least 6 weeks out, right? So we have a lot of time. The NFTs, the characters, are unrevealed. So when you mint them, they are unrevealed. And on the reveal event, you will see the rarity and also the Digitspad allocation rarity. So you will not be able to know that beforehand unless you buy it on the secondary market. Then you can basically filter. It will also be very likely that obviously these high rarity NFTs will also be relatively, assumingly, more expensive. Again, no projection on future events here. I would just take that as supply and demand kind of equation. Will the chosen DAO get a 1.5 multiplier on points? That has been removed. So the Digitspad FAQ, how it's set up right now, is the actual information we will apply. So the characters have basically taken that position to offer a more wide audience. The chosen DAO is just the DAO, and it's still waiting on the restructuring that has not been finalized. But that belongs to DigitsClub, and I want to focus on Digitspad, right? So the pad offers that opportunity. And basically, with the collection right now, what it looks like right now, there's 3,000 items in circulation. There are about 21 for sale, right? And obviously, because so many people got a free airdrop, so there were 1,400, just under 1,100 NFTs airdropped. About 30 or so got sold, and 21. So out of the 1,100, only 50 got listed for sale, which I think is extremely bullish. Some people got 8 NFTs, right, from that airdrop, which makes me very happy to see that people are extremely confident. And I do see a very clear future. So the legal team definitely told me to not make any announcement on future floor prices. But as I am a holder of these NFTs myself personally as well, I'm extremely bullish when the first projects come in, what the valuation of this collection will reach. So if you would consider to go into Digitspad, as a launchpad, decentralized reward-based launchpads for the longevity, for the future, I don't think there's any better moment than right now, because it is 0.175 ETH, yet we haven't launched the platform even, right? You cannot stake your NFTs right now, nothing like that. And the value is already there. I know that we have one really good project coming up, but until that agreement is signed, it will not be announced. And obviously we will announce it as soon as the pad officially takes off. Let me make an illustration about the points, because the points always come back. So on Digitspad, right, we have the Allocation NFTs. And then you have your agents. So basically, let's say we have one of each, right? So this goes times 1, times 1. So we yield 2 points per day. But the agent, it carries a multiplier, right? So the multi, let me just call it multi. Let's say he has the highest rarity, right? Which is basically 100% increase on your points. So this person is not gaining 2 points, but he's gaining 4 points per day because it goes times 2, right? That's the multiplier. So that's basically how it works. If you then would stack it, so then this one becomes 2, right? Then he gains 3 points, but the total will be 6 points because it's the multiplier. So that's why the rarity multiplier is a very significant one, right? It's only as significant as mathematically correct if you would have more points. So more points means that the more significant the multiplier becomes. If you have less points, if you have only one NFT, it might not be as interesting to stack an agent, because the agent is relatively more expensive because of its other utilities. Unless you're using that as well, then obviously it would be interesting. But the relative weight of the multiplier becomes more significant the matter more points are stacked. More points are being stacked, so let's say 6 points per day, the more opportunities you can participate in, right? Because you would have more points. It doesn't mean you necessarily get more allocation. That would be a natural flow if there are, in a bull run, for example, 4 projects a week, but you have more points, so you can allocate 2 whitelists, 2 NFTs, and 2 rounds, because it's not only IDOs, right? And let's say if you only yield 1 point per day, you might only do the rounds because the whitelist NFTs, you just don't have enough points, right? Let me see some questions. You mentioned low, base, high multipliers. What multipliers are those? So the multipliers are not set yet. So, but they will likely, the highest one will likely be 1. So basically times 2. And the other ones will be lower, right? So they're not extremely significant, yet significant enough. Ross, you got a very good question. That's a very interesting one. So Ross is asking, what does the economy look like with this many characters? So that's a very good question. I really like that question, because that is something we talked with several tokenomic flow advisors to get that dialed in. So basically there's 10,000 characters, right? 10,000 agents. And there's 3,000 allocation NFTs. So this is basically, so what is likely is in terms of the economy, they have to understand some things. So of the 3,000, it's 100% staking rate, right? It's extremely unlikely that somebody who has these NFTs would not stake. So we assume 100%. Because the agents have a huge variety, of which one you need to choose if you're going to stake in the Digitspad or the Digits Treasury, they can have a maximum activation of 50%, because half goes into the Treasury, likely, and half goes for the Digitspad, right? So out of that 50%, which is from the 10,000 agents, more than, let's say, 50% will be focused on other utility, right? So that's, so that, then you have about 2,500 that are still active. Then you need to take into consideration from these, so that's 2,500 and 3,000, so that's basically 5,500 points per day, that a lot of people will not be actively participating in pools, which is about 65%, right? So you're left with about 3,000 in that case. So it's a whole economy. I don't have the actual numbers here with me because they're obviously confidential to make sure the economy works well. But we run, I think, over 1,000 different scenarios. That's why it took so long to come up with the Digitspad reward model. But there's like 3,000 points, let's say, that could be consumed. And the matter of points doesn't really matter that much if there's a consistent flow of pools. So these pools could be IDOs, private rounds, seed rounds, strategic rounds, whitelist spots, NFTs, doesn't matter. We would all combine them and call them pools, right? So as long as points are being spent, then it works. So we can also manipulate this economy, which is quite interesting. So that's on the fair share model, right? We can basically reduce people's points. We can increase people's points, what they are allowed to spend, right? So through this, we can possibly balance this, right? The amount of points in distribution. We could also say that we deactivate the multipliers for a certain time in a bearish market. What is interesting is that from a tech point of view, the smart contract for the staking doesn't control the points, we control the points. So because we control the points, it is still decentralized because all the transactions take place on the blockchain. We don't control that, but we only control the admin side of things. So you need to accept the privacy policy before able to join Digitspad because we control user data. We don't control your email, nothing like that. We control your wallet is registered with your points. And we could basically say, at any moment in a bearish market, so let's say Bitcoin goes down to 20,000, there will be very little IDO projects launching, right? And most Launchpads suffer, but not Digitspad, because we can say all the points that are being accumulated are being divided by 5, for example. So you're earning a lot less points and you still need to meet the initial requirement. It means that, yes, you can participate in less pools, but it also means that you can actually join AAA projects that you want to join. It's super fair, right? And we can make that call based on the statistics that we see coming in about people participating, points being generated, all this stuff. Now, that's a bear market. Let's say in a bull market, right? A lot of these companies cannot adjust because their smart contracts are fixed, but not us. We can basically say like, oh, we have 5 projects a week, right? In a bull market, maybe even 10, like different whitelists, different NFTs, different rounds, right? You have all these different things. And then you have a huge opportunity to basically either say like everybody gets more points if needed, because if the pools are not getting filled, right? And the points is the only bottleneck, you can give them more points. Or we should say, we lower the amount of required points, right? But basically what we always look at, and that's just like, if you know what, we're not looking for the specific movie, but I'm looking for an equilibrium chart. So equilibrium is basically the point of an economic axis where supply and demand meets, right? So this is a graph that we have set up where basically the points relative to the projects always meet in the middle ground. So it's basically the fairest model, the best model. And I'm not saying we're going to reward whales and we will also reward small users, but we can implement this properly because of the point system, and a token messes this up, and that's why we didn't choose for a token. I hope, Ross, that's a good explanation. Digitspad allocation points cannot be used for the treasury. Allocation NFTs can only be staked in Digitspad to get points to be spent on Digitspad. Agents can also be staked in the treasury, but that's an either or. Either you stake them in Digitspad or you stake them in the treasury, hence this 50%. Half will go likely to the treasury, half will go to the Digitspad. Digitspad active participation, treasury passive participation, right? Miran is saying, I think NFTs will be staked on the side where most ROI will be made. So during a bull run, okay, so the switching between the treasury and Digitspad is very interesting, Miran, because that's something we also thought about. We thought about, I don't want to be too bullish on our own project, but we thought about that. So if you unstake your NFTs to stake your NFTs in the different part, your points will be burned, right? So let's say you accumulate against a bull market, then the points will be burned. So that's not useful. It's in line with your question here. So in a bear market, Digitspad NFTs will go down like Launchpad's minus 90%. Not really. And let me explain why. That's an assumption just to answer your question, right? What I assume will happen and what we thought of as a team. It's not a guarantee for the future. Do your own research, not financial advice. It is unlikely for the NFTs to depreciate in value because it's not only allocation rounds. We also do the NFTs and we also do the whitelist spot. So there's more utility to it. You can still stake and gain points. So when the market reverses, you have a whole lot of points and you have an advantage over other people. If you want to sell your NFT, which means you want to delist, it means your points are now being burned because you cannot unstake withholding your points. So if you want to sell, you need to be 100% sure because as soon as you unstake, all your points are gone and you start again at zero, which basically means that the situation that one would sell would only be the case if there are no good pools, right? And good pools doesn't mean more pools, right? Or less pools. It's more about quality than quantity. I cannot talk about launchpads too much here because we're talking about Digitspad. But if you look at launchpads that are launching 6 projects a week right now, all these projects are garbage, right? But if you launch 1 project a week or 1 project a month and it's like a AAA title and it still does well, then that's definitely great. Agents, Piers, that's a good question. Have you decided if the agents can be stacked? So the agents can be stacked for their points, right? However, the multiplier doesn't stack. So the system will pick the highest rarity multiplier and apply that only once. So you can stack the agents. So if you buy 2 agents, you could stack them both in Digitspad, but the multiplier doesn't stack, so it's not as efficient. If you buy 2 agents, you could stake 1 in Digitspad and 1 in the Digits Treasury if you want to participate in both projects. Will our allocation be given to the wallet? So anything related to the wallet that will be set up through the smart contracts, which I don't have answers for right now, how the distribution will go. The distribution will be different per pool, basically. Depending on where you hold your NFTs, it depends. If we do like a transfer NFT, a lock on the staking, and unlock on the staking, we would have to wait until the Launchpad goes live before we can answer those type of questions. In the meantime, you could transfer your NFTs to a hardware wallet to keep them safe and sound in that position. Definitely. Let me see. Would be nice if you get 10-digit NFTs that you can transfer points to the treasury. On that way, the mentor NFTs will be higher. So the Digitspad is an ecosystem on its own, right? Which is important to note. So let me sketch for people that are not familiar with our ecosystem. So you got DigitsClub, right? You got TrackDigits, right? You got Digitspad. You got the agents in the middle as a huge one, right? Because they have access to everything. And then you got the Digits Treasury, right? So the agents got access to everything. And the Digitspad allocation NFTs are here to make sure that the eternal economy is balanced. These allocation NFTs were available before the agents, right? So obviously, otherwise, so we're not going to release a treasury collection. Why not? Because the agents take care of that. So that's why these are there. But these are only tied to the Digitspad. You cannot transfer them. And the decision to transfer points between the system has been rejected by me, but might be implemented in the future to balance the economy. We would never implement it to drive the price up. So if that's basically, if it's only to drive up the floor price, that will not happen. However, if the economy doesn't work well, which means I would assume linearly aligned parallel, the price would go down on the floor as an effect, right? If the projects don't function well, then we'd basically allow the swapping of points to balance the economy. But as it is designed, that should not be required in any way or form. So do note that no underpoint transfer between the system, because these assets, these products need to be able to function on their own in a healthy manner. And the agents basically support this entire ecosystem, from an alpha community to a software to track all your investments, from a Launchpad to participate, to a treasury if you want to participate in our ecosystem passively, right? So those are basically the different steps. In terms of advisors, we have about a 6 to 8 week map on the agents, a roadmap, right, in terms of what we'll do. So any advisor had not yet been signed because the light papers are being adjusted. And obviously it's not as easy to talk with advisors if the light papers are not ready, because that is basically the core component you would send somebody for review. Let's say, for example, you invest into 3 agents, put the highest rarity NFT in Digitspad for the multiplier and the other 2 into the treasury for extra yield. Does that make sense? Yes, that would make sense. So on the treasury, we haven't decided how that point system will work, because just for your general understanding, to design such a point system economy, it takes weeks, if not months, right? Because you have to take everything into consideration, all the worst case, best case scenarios. So the treasury will likely go live, not on the launch of the agents. We're trying to make that deadline, but we'll have to see how that goes. Probably because there has to be a council in place, the DAO has to be in place to govern the treasury. So likely it will be in the next 3-4 weeks after the agents are minted that the treasury will be set up, and you can participate in that according to its own point system. It would be very easy for us to model it on the Digitspad system. The risk, of course, is if the system needs more balancing, you need to balance it twice. But that's obviously my problem to fix. But yeah, Piers, that would make sense. I think it would be likely that the multiplier would also be applicable here and here in the same manner. But this is decided, and this is not decided yet. So definitely no promises there. I must have an agent NFT to participate in TrackDigits. Yes. So as soon as the agents are minted, TrackDigits will likely, around that time when it's ready, go out of beta, the TrackDigits vesting tracker, because around that time we'll also release the second software inside TrackDigits, which will then go into beta. So basically for TrackDigits, there is basically the vesting tracker, and there will be an NFT tracker. This one is in beta right now, and as soon as the agents are ready, this beta closes because the users can actively use it, and then this one goes into a free beta because people can try it, and then we close that when the next one is ready, and there will be 3 total softwares under the TrackDigits brand. If you have a Digits agent, so TrackDigits, that's a question here. TrackDigits actually it will end up having 4 levels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, in terms of capacity, how many tokens you can track, what statistics you can see, and the agents will lock themselves in on the highest level. So Fans is asking, is there still a chosen NFT? Yes, we have the chosen NFTs, but the contract is not deployed. The contract will also not be deployed before the agents are minted, because it's more of a, well, it's an airdrop, right? So it's more of a symbolic NFT. It's more like a prized possession. So basically the chosen DAO NFT, so everybody who's in the DAO, because we haven't finalized what that means and what the responsibilities are, as soon as that happens, we'll also have an answer on when you will get those NFTs, if you're going to get one, and what that will look like with which responsibilities. So basically the DAO, which is basically made up out of 2 levels currently, it's chosen and council. Those will be pushed back a little bit. So when the agents are minted, these things will move in a triangle, right? Because we need the agents for the treasury, but we also need the council for the treasury, and the DAO for the treasury, and the DAO for the pad. So within the next 6 weeks, you will have an answer on how that works. But the NFTs are ready, and they look really cool. And the council NFTs are also ready, and they also look really cool. But these would basically be free airdrops, right? So they don't have to be minted. They're just symbolic perks to flex on the weaker agents. Sneak peeks? Not yet. It's still too early. What I have here is everything I can show you for now. Just the general ID, the generalized look and feel. But as I said, put that bell icon on because there will be some fast mover rewards. And if you are fast and if you are up to date with what we're doing, then it will definitely be in your advantage. You'll have an advantage. It will be a small blessing. But the sneak peeks, I mean, like, I don't mind sharing the art, but the art has to be finalized first, right? It needs to be in the final stage. And once that is there at that level, I will more than happily provide that to you in terms of what you might think of it, because I'm very happy so far. I'm very excited to see the developments on that, because I never expected it to be this much work. If people need to draw things by hand, get it animated, it's all really cool. But it's a natural process, right? We have time. It's about 6 to 8 weeks that we have, and every week, twice a week, I will update you like this. Like I said last week, and you basically get all the information, all the updates that I have, and I will bring more clarity, right? Because we do see the same questions over and over again, and that's fine. And that's why I'm here, to basically give you all the answers you need in a supportive way. What would be the expected number of launches in the next 3 to 6 months? I have no idea. So basically our partners, so we have announced 1 new partner out of the 9 in the pipeline. So there's an insane amount of partners interested in the Digits ecosystem. Now it's bigger than just DigitsClub. People were already interested in DigitsClub as it is, companies. But now it's basically huge. We have crazy opportunities. So we're looking into getting the agents into metaverses, other metaverses. We already have the first opportunity for games, but we don't want to move too fast, too far ahead, right? So we want to focus on our own ecosystem, but we're picking up the calls, seeing what the opportunities are, because I think, and that's just my opinion once more, if people learn about this ecosystem and what we're doing, everybody's super bullish, right? Because this is something that everybody wants to do, yet people are only talking about it. And we basically have 3 out of our 4 planned assets ready, operational. You can touch it, you can see it. Maybe Digitspad is not yet live, but will be soon. Yeah, that's it. So Mika, on your question on the tokenomics of the agents, yes, it is very likely that all 10,000 characters will be minted as once. The agents characters are obviously due to market conditions, right? Which is, I think, is very important on such a big collection. We'll take that into consideration. So let's say worst case scenario, Bitcoin drops to 10,000. We will definitely postpone the mint because it basically is a very big move for the ecosystem as a whole. And that will be important. In terms of reserves for the company, in terms of reserve for advisors, the company is not going to hold any. So we'll probably buy one of the one-of-ones just as a hold position. So if somebody's going to list it for 30 Ethereum after the mint, we'll probably pick it up. And I will get one myself as well. There's 10 one-of-ones on the collection. So if the company has one and I have one, I will be very happy. And I'm willing to spend big to get that one-of-one. But there's no reserves. If there would be reserves, it's usually for advisors. They would be vested, right? So they don't get their NFTs. There's like a vesting schedule. But that will all be announced in the white paper when it's time to release the white paper. So that information is not in the white paper because that's still in progress. But the tokenomics is one of the things that, I mean, everything on these agents I'm super transparent on, right? So you can ask how it works, how this works, how that works, everything. I can be as transparent as possible. I just can't tell you some information right now because of obvious reasons, right? But if you want to ask something, feel free to ask it, because I'm willing to tell you a lot more about what we're doing, what we're thinking, how it's going to work than other projects, because I have no secrets for you guys. I have no secrets for anybody. I assume that not all of them will have multipliers, right? No, not all of them will have multipliers. So there's basically 3 different multipliers, and there's also no multiplier. So you have no multiplier, low, medium, high. But there's different rarities. So you have the Digitspad and perhaps treasury rarity, right? Depends. It's called an allocation rarity. So that's usable in different ways, which is none, low, medium, high. Then you have a status rarity, which is basically your percentage of rarity compared to the rest of the set in terms of trades. So there are over 300 different trades. The more rare your trades are, the rarer that is. And in addition to that, you have a clearance level rarity, which is going to go from level 1 to level 15. The higher your clearance level, the more rare it is. Clearance level 15 is basically only the one of ones. And that is a future utility rarity, right? So that will have utility, but just not immediately. So we have an immediate utility on the rarity, a status utility on the rarity, and we have a utility long-term on the rarity. How many can be minted by one person? That hasn't been decided yet. It really depends on what the whitelist formation will look like. We'll do, as you might have seen on the outreach, we'll do a high quality whitelist. So there will be a pre-mint XY set. So that's like a software that will verify your wallet. You need to hold a specific amount of Ethereum to qualify for the whitelist. It will have a big filter. So we're not going for a big oversubscribe on the whitelist. This is a high quality collection with extreme utility. There will be some big advisors on board. So it will all be very structured because it's a serious thing in general. What is the purpose of the status rarity? The purpose is that they have limited status is a utility. That's what GSC always says, right? So the status is basically they have the craziest looks, right? So the one of ones, obviously art-wise, they have good looks, right? Because they are the one of ones, they have the unique ones. But if you look at the collection in terms of the most dope traits, right, in the appearance, those are covered by the status rarity. So likely, if you have the coolest design, obviously it's object, like it's opinion based, right? But if you have the sickest looking one, according to me, the team, and all the designers, then you would have the highest status rarity. And maybe you like the lowest status rarity in terms of art, right? It's okay. It's all part of it. But from what I've seen is we have also built that up in levels, right? So I mean, if you can't say much about the art yet, but that has been a good one. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions, or is everything clear for now? So already been going 45 minutes. Breaking. Twitter to accept Elon Musk's offer of 43 billion as early as today. Really? That would be interesting. How is the trailer going? It's fine. I'm waiting, right? Waiting. 90% of the stuff is just waiting. And 10% is making content and calls and behind the scenes. No, I think 10% is waiting, 90% is doing shit. But the waiting part is my favorite part, right? Because usually I'm super impatient on everything. But on the designs, on like outsourced material, or at least third party, what you use third parties for, yeah, we just need to wait. And then how it all comes together. One thing I'm sure, which obviously on the delivery of the project so far, I think we can all agree, 110% bullish, right, on this project. So everything is looking super great. If you have any questions on Digitspad, go over to the Discord, drop it in the Digitspad channel, and I'll be picking it up. If you have any questions on the agents, go to the general chat, write your question, tag me, and I'll be picking it up on Discord. If you're not in the Discord yet, check the link in the description below. Click that, go to the Discord. If you're not following the Digits Agents Twitter, make sure you do so or you'll likely regret it this week. Follow, click the bell icon, make sure that you're completely up to date if you don't want to miss out on what I believe will be an amazing opportunity. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you watching. Have an amazing rest of your day.